Wednesday, November 21st, 2018. This past week, we enjoyed many weddings, and David Batesh asked about standing. He asked specifically about standing for the bride and groom, standing when the bride and or groom walk in, and I answered with an emphatic no. We don't do that. Now, I didn't really say more than that, and there's a lot more to say than it. But the concept, and my answer still remains, we do not stand for them. So what's the class about? The class has to do with standing for the actual wedding ceremony, or not. And that's where halakha comes to play, halakha and minhag. So first we're going to read from a book of minhagim called Ateret Avot. Ateret Avot is written by a very interesting rabbi in Israel. His name is Rabbi Moshe Suisa. And this Rabbi Moshe Suisa happens to also be a general in the Israeli army. He's a good friend of our buddy Sam Cohen. Sam introduced me to him. That's how I got the books, through Sam and through this rabbi. We have our own little private chat. We discuss minhagim from time to time. And he's done a very thorough job. He's put out 3 books in this Ateret Avot series. He's put out a Siddur so far. He put out a Selihot book, and he put out another book of different halachot pertaining to textual differences in the beginning of the morning prayers.
Wow.
And he's working on a lot more things. And he's a very, very nice guy. Very sweet.
Is he retired, General?
No. He's active.
Wow.
So how he does all this, I don't know. But he's active all the time. All of a sudden, boom, the guy's in the army, he's out fighting, he's out running his platoon, he's out teaching, he's out, doing whatever he has to do. He's a very young guy. And he's active. How he's writing, I don't know how he's doing it, and his stuff is on the money. He goes, looks for the sources, investigates things. He's doing very nice work. So he definitely deserves a shout out, and we need to really look at what he writes over here. So he's writing over here about minhagim mainly of Moroccans, but at the same time he likes to cross-reference other minhagim when he finds them. And he'll actually put in the back of each volume, let's see where it is over here. He tells you, okay, these are the different minhagim that I mentioned. These ones also pertain to Salonika. These ones also pertain to Tunisia. These ones pertain to Iraq. These ones, and he goes through the whole thing. That way, if you're reading the book, you want to go in the back, you could see what else, which other communities are doing the same minhagim. So he has over here a section of minhagim for weddings. And he writes, כל הקהל עומדים על רגליהם בשעת ברכת האירוסין בשבע ברכות שתחת החופה ובמנהגים בכובד ראש ובדממה. So it says the entire congregation stands the entire time for all the berachot of the Erusin, which is the first 3 berachot, as well as the Sheva berachot, the next 7 berachot, that are all done under the huppah, and everybody acts in a manner that is conducive to having the proper kavod, respect. You're not in a club. You're at a wedding. So he has to include that because especially many weddings in Israel today, they do them in the reception room, and people are just just talking and eating and joking, and he's telling you basically be in a place and act accordingly. But our concern is with the standing part, because he's telling you to stand for the entire ceremony. Have you stood for a ceremony?
No.
No. Joey?
No.
No. Ralph? Elliot? David?
Never.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
I'm saying, have you stood?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Barry?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, so I was only at one wedding once where we stood. David, I think you were there. Okay. It was near El Malo. Rabbi Barry's son-in-law.
I didn't go to the ceremony, probably.
You didn't go to the ceremony. Anyway, so his ceremony, we all stood. His brother took the mic and said, "It's our minhag, if everybody to stand. Please follow our custom and please all stand for the entire ceremony." We all stood for the ceremony. So that was the only time I ever experienced it. And to me it seemed strange. And that'll bring us to the second part of what we're doing. So this is what he says as source-wise. He says, "Ken ita b'tikkunei ha-zohar." First thing he brings us is the Zohar. In other words, there is no source in the Gemara for this, from what we're seeing so far. וها إنون بحبا سريخين عما قديشا لميكان بعميدا قدام حتان بخلا إما حزان لبرخا لون بشيا بركان وقديشا حتان لكلا بكدميتا بكدوشين عاد كان. So the Zohar is very, very clear. During the wedding ceremony, for the Sheva Berachot the Zohar is talking about, that the entire congregation needs to stand. This is a gathering of Kiddusha, okay? It's a holy gathering, and because it's holy, you have to stand before the bride and groom while the Hazan is making the Berachot. And that's the text of the Zohar. So we know it's Birkot Kiddushin, okay? It's a holy thing. We stand generally for holy things. So there you go. Person saying Kaddish, or we're saying Kiddusha, we stand. So the same thing over here, you stand. Okay, Knesset Gedolah, our friends are here.
Yeah.
We know. Katab. She came and had kushta. Okay, so the custom over there in Turkey to stand. There's Ma'arab. There's Ma'arab being the Maghrib, being North Africa. لعمود كل عام بشعات بركات الحاتنين شهم شبه براخود وهو لخبود الحاتان بكلا شهم عمدين. And you're doing it to honor the Hatan and Kala who are standing. You're there for them and they're standing, you stand for them. Hatan domain الملك. And the Hatan is compared to a king. So you would stand for a king. منهاتي بعصمي لكم بقام كل عام برؤوتام شكامتي على العمدام يعمودوا زولات كساتها مديها خيم شلو يدعو ولو يبينوا أفلو بمسيخة كلا ولو شمشوتها مديها خيم كذا. So you're saying that it's the custom of Kushta, but at the same time he's saying that he himself, had the personal custom to stand. But if he was there and that was the custom, so we don't really understand what he's trying to say. Maybe just in one particular city and not in the entire region that he was in at the time. So he's saying that he would stand, and because he stood, other people around him would also stand as well. But he said there were some Talmidei Hachamim, and this is the funny thing, he tells they don't know anything, they don't understand anything, they don't even know how to read, basic Masechet, but they're Talmidei Hachamim, and they never served Talmidei Hachamim, so they don't know what to do and they don't understand, and they just keep sitting while everybody else is standing. והביא דברה בחקרי לב בספר מערכי לב בכתב שעל כן צריך לקום מפני החתן והכלה בעת השבע ברכות. Therefore you must stand for the חתן והכלה during the שבע ברכות. ותהמה על מקצת תלמידי החיים שלא נהגו לקום. And it's surprising that there are some תלמידי החיים that do not stand. וכן הגאון רבי שלמה קלוגר בשאלות תשובות הלך לך שלמה כתב דמסר בתיקוני הזוהר שכל העולם חייבים לעמוד עם החתן והכלה כשמברכים שבע ברכות תחת החופה. So I was saying Rabbi Shlomo Kluger, big Ashkenazi rabbi, Chaim Yosef quotes him constantly, says the same thing, that because of what's written in this Tikkunei HaZohar, you should be standing. ואסור להם לשב בשעת הברכות. And in fact, it's asur to sit, forbidden to sit during the recitation of the berachot. ובוודאי ראוי לחוש את דבריו דברי אלוהים חיים. Then he goes, ובספר נהר מצרים כתב, ברכת חתנים בזה אין אומר ואין דברים דצריך לעמוד, שהרי ברכה שברא היא ברכה לכללות ישראל, וחובה לעמוד וכן נוהגים. Says the ברכה that we say, שברא ששום שמחה, חתן וכלה, this is a ברכה for all of Am Yisrael. It's not specifically for the חתן and כלה, and it's for everybody. And since now this ברכה itself pertains to everybody, there's no discussion needed. Everybody has to stand. And וחובה לעמוד is an obligation to stand, וכן נוהגים, and that's the custom. וכן פסק השדה חמד. שדה חמד we read about before, בחזקיה מדיני. He was in Hebron. The שבע ברכות אומרים מעומד. You say these ברכות while standing. לפי שמברכים כללות ישראל ישמע בהרי יהודה ובחוצות ירושלים, כל ששון וכל שמחה pertains to the entire nation, and therefore we stand. ציווה אדוני שיהיה בעמידה כה תברכו מעומד. This is a ברכה like ברכת כהנים, standing. לפיכך עומדים הכל בשם ברכו ודווקא פעם אחת, אבל בסעודה אין צריך בזה כדי שלא להטריח המסוגלים. But we only do it one time for the ceremony itself, and during all Sheva Berachot of any of the meals, we don't want to burden the people. So we say we stood up one time, and we don't have to stand up for every time they do it at the meals. ובשאלות שורות קריאת חנה דוד, קריאת חנה דוד we've read about, be David HaKohen Sakli. We've read it before on many occasions, whether it be about umbrella or whether we did the whole thing about how he foresaw
predicted, 1967.
Yeah, he foresaw 1967.
Oh, the Gematria one from a couple of years ago?
Okay, yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
You get like a yes here, yeah.
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Less than a year even. Okay, but he's somebody that we've read from before. We did Potei Yadecha from him as well, going back a few years ago. The Birkat Hatarim Hayyabim Na'amud Kol Nimsayim Sham Be'ayt HaHuppah B'Shat HaBerachot. Everybody is obligated to stand. V'chein Pashat HaMinhag B'chol HaMikomot. And he wrote that's the common custom every place. Dekevan Shesarich Asara Hevaya Kedebarim Shebekedusha. Since you need 10 people, you need a minyan for a huppah, for the Kedushin. So this is an issue of Kedusha, and therefore stand. לכן צריכים כל העם לעמוד כשמברכים שבע ברכות. וכן כתב חתנו הגאון רבי דוד ibn Khalifa, and his son-in-law, Rabbi David ibn Khalifa, okay, who happened to be a student of Rabbi Yosef Mesas, he writes in his book, דרכי דוד, וזה לשונו. וכשזיכנו הקדוש ברוך הוא לשרת בקודש יחד עם הרב הגדול, כבוד מורנו הרב מסעוד הכהן. מסעוד הכהן we read about before in his פרחי כהונה, also about allowing to turn on electricity on Yom Tov. We read about him. היינו מכריחים לכל הקהל לעמוד בשעת השבע ברכות כמו שכתב אדמו"ר בספרו הקדוש קריאת חנה דוד. And when I had the zechut to serve together with Rabbi Mas'ud Kohen, we used to tell the people that we're here at a wedding and everybody is obligated to stand up, and we're going to wait for everybody to stand up before we begin the ceremony. And he followed what my father-in-law, Rabbi David Sakli Kohen, wrote in his book Kriyat Hana David. ובשאלות שבוע דברות אליהו כתב דמן הראוי לעמוד בשבע הברכות שבחופה כל הקהל שכן נוהגים, והוסיף עוד טעם לזה לפי מה שאמרו במגילה, אמר רבי יוחנן, אמר קרא מן תשקיע בתוך בני ישראל, כל דבר שבקדושה לא יהיה פחות מעשרה. Okay, anything that is בקדושה, you can't have less than a minyan, and that's the case, you're standing as well. ומרן בשולחן ערוך אבן העזר פסק דאין מברכים ברכת חתנים אלא בעשרה גדולים. Not only do you have to have עשרה minyan, but you have to have עשרה גדולים. You have to have real men, okay? And men of stature. והואיל וכן הרי מן הראוי לאומנם בעמידה ככל דבר שבקדושה. וכתב מהרי בן נעים בספרו נוהג בחוכמה. נוהג בחוכמה, we read from him before also. Rabbi Yosef ben Naim, he wrote about all different types of technological advances and how halakha, should approach them. That's a very long time ago we read from his book. שכן נוהגים יהודי מורוקו בעית שבע ברכות שכל הקהל יחד עם החזן עומדים על רגליהם. There's the custom in Morocco that everybody stands. וכן הגאון רבי שלום בן רבי אהרון אבו חסירה בספר מיליסטוק כתב שכן נוהגים בעית הפלילת ובאסר שכל הקהל עומד בעית החופה. So different testimonies about different Moroccan hachamim he's bringing us that they stand. And that's the custom, and it's based upon the Zohar and it's based upon an understanding of Devarim of Kedusha. Now that's what Rabbi Suisa is telling us over here. So there's a book called Yam HaGadol. Yam, Rashi Tevot, Yaakov, Moshe. Yaakov Moshe, for Yaakov Moshe Toledano. Rabbi Toledano was a very interesting Hacham. He was probably one of the earliest Hachamim that saw the benefit of looking for old manuscripts as opposed to other Hachamim that found old manuscripts just to study them. He used them to create studies, to create comparisons, to bring up laws that were forgotten about or were unknown. Okay, so he was an academic type of rabbi even before academic rabbis were known. Okay, especially among Sephardim. He traveled constantly between Eretz Israel, Morocco, and Egypt, and always looking for things, gathering things, writing things. When he finally ended up, making Aliyah, he became the chief rabbi of Tel Aviv, if I'm not mistaken, but he also became the head of the minister of religion for the country. Okay,
Wow.
Minister and education. Yeah, very interesting guy. Anyway, so this is a book of Sheilot Shubot. Most of them are short. Some of them are very long, though. That he wrote while he was serving in Egypt, and this was published in 1931. We used it years ago when he discussed the concept of can a person use an elevator on Shabbat or Yom Tov. Okay, so you may remember that class. You may not.
1931. Elevators and then.
What did we say the answer was?
Otis.
I'm not going to talk about that. No.
Oh.
Again? I can never get the easy way out.
No, there's no easy way out in this class, my friend.
But that class probably wasn't recorded.
Yeah, so
No,
maybe.
it's not recorded.
No, it was probably a recording on cassette.
Who's going to do all that? Who's going to transfer? We have to know the answer, or you have to redo the class.
One day. I have a lot of classes to redo, I guess. I'll do Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo first.
Let's do it.
Okay, that's a very good class. But I still think everybody will be too afraid to answer it. For you people.
I'll do it. I'm a rebel. I'll
You
say
won't
it.
do it.
Say what? Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo?
Out loud in Knesset, you won't do it.
Oh,
Megillah, Shofar, you'll never do it. Don't
no,
worry.
probably
What
not.
do you mean? I thought you're not supposed to.
Right.
the problem. That's what they
thing.
want you to
That's what
believe.
we're saying.
But you're arguing that you are supposed to.
Well, we're saying that we always grew up.
Growing up, everybody answered.
Okay.
It wasn't until the 70s that they started to announce, please make sure you do not answer.
Right,
Like
but I'm saying that comes down to the argument of minhag versus halacha. Can they contradict ever, or
This is not minhag versus halacha.
no?
No,
No.
really.
It's really not.
Well, I guess I'd have to hear
You'd
the whole
have to
thing
learn
out.
the
To,
subject. It's a very interesting topic, but we're completely off, and since we're recording...
Are we
let's-
recording?
Yes, we are recording.
We are recording right now,
We
yeah.
are recording.
Dude.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes, you spoke or not. I know we're recording. I'm doing that. Okay. So I'm going to read from Rabbi Yaakov Moshe Toledano, Yom HaGadol Siman Ayin Bet. And the reason that I first discovered this teshuvah, like I mentioned before, was at that wedding of Nira and Mala. And they said, oh, to stand. And to me, I found that surprising because I never heard of it before, never saw it before. And we saw in the Han Mitzrayim said also stand.
Right.
So I'm like,
There you go.
understood. So what's going on over here? So let's look at this teshuvah. נשאלנו בבית דיננו פה בקהיר מאת ועד העדה. So the community council approached the Beit Din in Cairo. אם מותר לתקן שישבו הקהל בשעת שברכות. Can we institute sitting for the wedding ceremony? Okay.
Which implies.
That they stood before.
Right.
יען, כי נמצאים המון רב בתערובת אנשים ונשים וגם מוזמנים משאינם בני ברית. Because there are so many people. Weddings are crowded. Lots of people show up. Men and women. And even non-Jews. וכשיהיו עומדים יהיה ערבוביה ושעון וזילה ולתה. And when everybody's standing up, it's one big messy confusion and talking and people bumping into each other and just not
Good points.
not the right atmosphere.
True.
Okay? So he goes to answer now. ותשובתנו הייתה הנה בעניין ברכות המזוות שצריך מעומד נמסר בזה אריכות דברים בספרי הפוסקים. Right? Any sort of berachot of the mizvot regarding standing, you see that the Hachamim have written at length about it. Whether we're dealing with shofar, dulab, omer, whatever it may be, stand, not stand, what's the reason, how come, what are the exceptions, why do we have to stand? And we see so many cases like this, and if you open up any holiday and you get to something in berachot, they go on for pages and pages in the footnotes discussing it, and shelot shuvot, so many things about what has to be done and why. ובנוגע לשבע ברכות כתב הכנסת הגדולה באבן העזר סימן סמך בית הגהות הטור עוד בית ובקושטא במערב הם עומדים. Like we read over here, he quotes the כנסת הגדולה that says that the custom in Kushta and the custom in the Ma'arab is to stand. אבל בסלוניקי וטיריה לא נהגו לעמוד. Okay, so obviously what Rabbi Moshe Suisa quoted us for over here, I think it was the full quote. He all mentioned about where they stood, which is Kushta and the Ma'arab. But in Saloniki and in Tyria, they didn't have the custom to stand. והוא הנהיג בטיריה לעמוד לכבוד החתן שדומה למלך. And he, the כנסת הגדולה, בחיים בן בניסטה, instituted standing in Tyria in honor of the Hatan, who is comparable to a king. ובכנסת הגדולה יורדעה סימן רש סמכי הגהות בית יוסף עוד בית כתב תם אחר מפני שעוסקים במצווה. And elsewhere in the same Knesset Gedolah, a completely different section, he wrote, we stand because we are involved in a mitzvah. כמו שכתב רבי עובדיה ברטונורה, בפירוש המשניות פרק ג' לביקורים. המדינה וכל בעלי אומניות שבירושלים היו עומדים לפניהם. Okay, when they used to bring the bikurim, they all used to stand. והוא בא שם גם מתיקוני הזוהר הקדוש, שמצריך לעמוד, וכן כתב בית אהרון שם. בשל תשובות אחינועם. סימן ג' עין שם דהי בטעמה גם כן משום דהווה דבר שבקדושה צריך עשרה ועמידה. Says because this is a דבר of kedusha, okay, and therefore you need to have a minyan, and therefore you need to stand. אך מהריקש ביעקב קסטרו, okay, who wrote the Sephardic version of
Ketzah Shulchan Aruch?
no, of Muram, of Haggaha, right, of the Ramah, is the Sephardic version. Okay. Ibn Ha'ayzer, Siman Samach Bet, Katav, Zilshano, Berob Hamikomot Ra'iti, Shebarchin, Sheva Berachot, Ma'omer. In most places I saw that the custom is to stand for the entire Sheva Berachot. Besarich Ayun, Lama Nahagu Ken. But we need to investigate why they did this. ואם לכבוד החתן וחלה, למה ברכת אירוסין מיושב? So if they're doing it in honor of the Hatan Lekala, why are they only standing for the Sheva Berachot and not for the Birkot Irusin, the three Berachot beforehand? ונראה לי דכיוון דברכת אשר ברא שייכה לכלל קהל ישראל. גם כן, שאומרים מהרה יישמע, etc., etc., וברך את ישראל, צריך בעמידה. It's all because the Sheva Berachot is one unit of Berachot, connected to one another. You don't do one without the others. And the last Beracha brings us into the final phase that connects all of Am Yisrael together, and therefore we have to do it standing. Whereas the three previous Berachot for the Irusin have nothing to do with that, therefore you sit for the Irusin, but you stand for the Kiddushin, for the Sheva Berachot. כמו שכתב רבותינו זכרם לברכה, כה תברכו. When you say כה תברכו בני ישראל, so this is the way you have to bless the people. Same way you have to stand to bless them, they have to stand to accept the ברכה, בעמידה. וכתיב, ואלו יעמדו לברך את העם, לכן מברכים שהברכות בעמידה, ודווקא פעם ראשונה, ובסעודה לא, שלא להטריח למסובין. Like we said, it's only the first time that you're doing it for this couple, and for subsequent times when you're doing it in the סעודות, you sit down. וכולי. עד כאן דבריו. נראה מדבריו, דמעט מקומות היו מברכים גם שהברכות בישיבה. So what we see between the Knesset HaGedolah and Maharikash is that there were some places that were actually doing the berachot seated. They weren't all standing. Okay? Everybody standing for the berachot is a custom that basically took hold on its own in many different places, even though the original custom may not have been to stand up. But because different Hachamim wrote it's a good idea to stand, people picked up on it. And most of the places, it seems that they definitely sat for the Birkat Irusim, for the first Berachot. הגן לזמננו לא ראיתי הפרש בזה בעין המסתיים בכל כתובות מה שכתב בזה. But even though nowadays there's no community that he is aware of that sits for the first three and stands for the other seven, he goes, over time, as we know, things evolved. It probably became too difficult. Oh, what do I sit for? What do I stand for? Just stand for the whole thing and finish with it. And that way you don't have to bring in chairs either. והנה לטעמו של מהריקש הנזכרת יש לומר דאין חיוב לעמוד אלא החתן והכלה מברך אבל הקהל יש לומר לא צריך לעמוד דהה בברכת כהנים גופה דמעה למען מהריקש כתב מגן אברהם ואור החיים סימן קכ"ח בין היטב שם סעיף קטן י"ד הקהל יכולים לשב ואין חיוב העמידה אלא על הכהנים. Because if you open up the מגן אברהם in Or HaChaim says yes, even though you think that because the Kohanim are blessing the people and the Kohanim have to stand, you have to stand, technically there is no Hayub for the people to stand, and if you're not able to stand or you don't want to stand for Birkat Kohanim, you can sit down. Okay? Obviously, try that today, everybody will yell at you. Stand up, Kohanim. והן אמת המאירי וחידושי מגילת כ"ח כתב דמנהג בספרד לעמוד הקהל בברכת כהנים. And the Meiri tells us the minhag in Spain was that the kahal would stand for Birkat Kohanim. Omnam midatala dabar b'minhag nir'eh de medina la sarich. But since he wrote it's the minhag to stand, that means we automatically understand from the Meiri that the deen is that you can sit. Only minhag to stand. וגם לתעמים האחרים משום דבר שבקדושה משום כבוד החתן. אין הכרח כל כך להסליך עמידה בשם ברכו מדינה. We can't say these are all very nice reasons to give because you want to say this is דבר שבקידושה and you want to say that this is kavod for the hatan. That's all very nice, but you can't say this is an obligation to tell the people that they have to stand. There's no obligation to stand for shir berachot. ולטעם דבר שבקידושה מעשינו כמה דברים שאין עומדים כמו שכתב בשלוש שבועות דרכי נועם שם. Because there are things of Kedusha that we don't stand for, like the Dרכי Noam wrote. Main echad davar shebkedusha yoter b'birkat Torah. You know, the berachot of the Torah. Every guy that goes up and makes birkot Torah, or you in the morning when you say birkot shahar, you end off with birkot Torah. You don't have to stand for that. That's Kedusha. Okay? Every guy goes up to the sefer, makes before Aliyah, after Aliyah. You don't stand for that. Okay? The Hazarat Yud Het, and the Hazarat of the entire Amidah. We know that Rambam says you have to stand, but we know, in fact, not everybody stands. I stand, yes, I do.
So do you?
And Seattle over there stands. Okay, so therefore, you don't have to, the kahal does not need to stand. מעיין שם את מן אברהם, בספר דוד, בחידה, בחרים שם. Even open up the Hida and other places, you'll see they don't have to. באור החיים סימן קכ"ד, סעיף ד' של שבועות הלקט, חלק ב' סימן פה, שהוכח מהעדות. מהגמרא דאין צריך קהל לעמוד בחזרה י"ח. He's bringing you other sources to prove that you don't have to stand for hazara. Okay? We're okay here? ולדעתי שגם המנהג לעמוד בשתי ברכות היה עיקרו לא על פי הדין אלא משום שתמיד יש מוזמנים רבים בחתונה ואין מקום לכולם לשבת ולכן היו עומדים. So Rabbi Toledano was saying, it's all very nice, everything that I brought you until now, but let me tell you my honest opinion. He goes, this custom of standing for Sheva Barachot, I don't think it ever came from the Deen, nor that it ever didn't come from Minhag either. But basically, there was always a lot of people at weddings, okay? And there was just never enough, and there was just never enough places, never enough seats. And so therefore people just stood. And oh, he's standing, I'll stand too. Okay? You have love when the Hakayim are honest, It's beautiful when they just tell you the truth. I don't think there's any reason that they were standing up because of the deen. They were standing up because that was just, reality. He invited 50 people to the wedding, and there's only 30 chairs. There's 20 people standing up. It looks like most of the people are standing now. Oh, I better stand up too. ואם כן, בנידון דידן, שיש סיבת ערבוביה לאנשים ונשים וחסון כבוד בפני שאינם בני ברית. Now in our case, that the committee is coming to us to ask us, and saying that, the men and women, they're mixing up with each other, and it looks like there's not much kavod in the room because people may be flirtatious with one another, especially this is something that many people have non-Jewish associates, friends, neighbors that they're inviting as well, and they're going to look around and say, well, what are these Jewish people doing? Then definitely, because it's very important to be lenient and tell the kahal everybody should be sitting down.
Because what? So they wouldn't flirt with each other because there's a bigger...
So in other words, you have a lot of people. So now, you see all the cookies over there? All those cookies are touching.
We got
Okay.
the cookies.
They're piled on top of each other.
Right. You have the blacks, you have the whites, you have to look at this, okay? You have the sprinkles, you have the cherries, they're all mixed with each other. They're touching, they're becoming flirtatious, they're nudging against one another, whatever the case may be, okay? And now you have this one guy over here, this goy. What's going on over here? What I'm doing in church, it's quiet, it's calm, everybody's sitting. Doesn't look nice. I don't know what these Jews are doing. And they always have to think. It was like this bamba that ended up in the plate with the cookies by accident.
There you go. Hey, look at the
It's like,
bomb.
what's going on over here? What's this guy doing over here? There's a problem. So the committee said it's only going to cause negative talk. It's going to be something bad in the long run. Whether it's people are going to be touching each other inappropriately, looking at each other inappropriately, people from outside the community are going to talk about the community. There's really no good that is coming out of this custom of standing. They approached the Beit Din. Can we change it? Can we sit down? So Rabbi Toledano was going through the sources, going through the situation over here. He's telling you, because in our case, because of the mixed elements, he goes, really? Yes, we need to tell the people that they have to be sitting. If they're sitting, now we have order again. And the whole point is to have order, to have decorum. It's a very important factor. Cookie, anyone?
Bamba?
ורק החתן והכלה והמברך יהיו מעומד. And only the hatan and the kala and the person making the berachot should be standing. למהי טעמה דערבוביה התיר גם בשאלות שוות תעלמות לב חלק ג' בהיתר אשר ברכות בית הכנסת. And for the same reason, there was an issue that we studied in the past, if any of you remember, it's a very long time ago though, about whether you could have or should have a wedding in a synagogue or not. Okay? And we studied different sources. We studied Rabbi Oziel, who was very against it. He does not like the concept of a wedding in a synagogue whatsoever. On the other hand, we had Ta'alamut Lev, Biliyahu Hazan, that said because of situations like this, and because of decorum, you definitely should have it in the synagogue. That will bring more Kiddusha to the Kiddushin. Okay? So for the same reason that Rabbi Leo Hazan said, let's move the weddings into an area, into an arena where it's going to create more decorum and more kedusha. The same thing over here. We need to have the people sitting as well. ואומנם, לרב חד מילתא, יש לתקן שיהיו 10 מהקהל עומדים סמוך לחתן וחלל לברך. And to fulfill all opinions and all sources, you should make sure there are at least 10 men standing near where the hatan and the kala and the person conducting the ceremony is. That way you have the kiddusha over there, you have the 10 men. Okay, that's your minyan. B'sha'ar kol ha'kahal b'yeshiva, and the rest of the attendees, or the attendants, they're all sitting. Ve'od, בהיות שלא בחתונות נעשים בבית הכנסת שעושים שם לחתן וכלה בימה מיוחדת גבוה כסת. And since most of our ceremonies are conducted in a synagogue where they put up a stage that's a little higher, בזה יש לומר בשופי יכולים הקהל להישב. For sure now you could have the entire congregation sitting, because now that stage is like a mehisa in a sense, where those that are part of that stage, they're within their own, their own mehisot, within their own irub in a sense, and everybody else is outside of it. So those are outside of it, you could definitely sit, and those people within that realm of the chupak will be standing. כיוון דהחתן וכלה ומברך עומדים לפני עצמם במקום גבוה וחולקים רשות לעצמם. That's a private רשות. מהי טעמה שבלעדי הרשב"א בחלק ג' סימן רפ"א דמובא בית יוסף ירדעה סימן רפ"ב ברמה שם דאין צריך לעמוד בפני ספר תורה ופני רבו כשהם על הבימה שגבו יוד טפחים. עין שם. Same thing. The Sefer Torah is out. Okay? Are we all standing the entire time the Sefer Torah is out? Sitting on the teva?
Ashkenazim do.
When it's being read.
Right.
Only when it's read, you mean?
Only when it's
Yeah.
being read. Only when they.
But we're saying though, since it's within its own separate realm, and it's on the teva, and the teva is higher than 10 tefahim, it's considered a separate area, and therefore those in the room don't have to stand. You could sit down. ולכן בהצטרף שני הדברים ביחד שהחתן וכלה הם על הבימה. And now we put everything together. The חתן וכלה on the stage. וגם שיחד עמהם ועם מברכי עדי הקדושים. And since we have the rabbi and the hazan and the מברך, and we have 10 men over there, so בהק יסגה ויכולים כל הקהל להיות יושבים. Well, this is enough to fulfill all the obligations and all the opinions, and therefore everybody else can be sitting down, and everybody's happy. Done. Reason? I don't know why people do it. Now, if anybody here knows a reason for it, I'd like to hear.
They're honoring the Kala. I mean, she's the queen. I don't
But
know.
she's not yet. See, if they're marching, when they're marching out, I got you. Stand for them. Yes, this is the new king and queen. They're regal. They're just still marching in. They could call it off still. Okay? Yeah, runaway bride.
Yeah,
It's possible, no?
sure.
Got a point.
No, you see, all of a sudden she marches in with her parents, and all of a sudden people just start standing up.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
that's what we see.
Well, we sometimes see, not usually.
Well, then you know.
Why? The other night they weren't doing it.
Well, some people were. Some people said.
Some, but very
around-
few.
That's
There
true.
were very few. I looked around, only
Yeah,
because we asked about it the day before.
Right.
So I looked around.
So
There were
people did it by us or no?
very few, maybe 5, 6 people.
Somebody in your section did. I
Could
think
be.
someone in front of you to the left.